Life is either an attempt not to die, meaning it's a exercise in anxiety, or it is bathed in meaning. It is an expression of love for your own existence. It's that, or you're trying not to die. When you're trying not to die, you're no better than an animal. In Kabbalah, we say it's your nefesh, which we all have. It's your animal soul. Of course, we have to take care of that. There might be times in life where that gets triggered and you have a survival response, but that's no way to live as far as how you choose to live your life and how you select the meaningful experiences that are going to define you. My name is Devin Stone. You could call me a philosopher. I was raised in what you could call an anxiety-based household. Both of my parents were of the boomer generation. They were anxiety-motivated, you could say heady people. Taking risks in life is something that I was raised to believe that you don't do. So how I grew up, how I was raised, was believing that you could make catastrophic mistakes and unwise decisions, and you had to protect yourself from making bad decisions that would have catastrophic results by being perfect, by getting straight A's in school, by picking a good college, by making all the quote-unquote right moves. And when you raise children like that, they're taught to ignore their own joy, the things that put a smile on my face. I did know those things. I had those things, but I dismissed them, disregarded them, told myself as I grew older and got into teenage years, when it became time to pick a college and a major and all that, well, you can't make money doing art, and you certainly can't make money doing philosophy, so I have to pick something smart, practical, reasonable, be a doctor or something. And of course that didn't pan out because I didn't become a doctor, but I hated the routine, burned out on school, and started my own adventure and work and exploring other things. Motorcycling means different things to different people who do it. But I will say that all of this talk that you hear infinitum from motorcyclists about how it is about freedom, it is a philosophical endeavor, or many people who motorcycle can't help but get a little bit philosophical. There are thought-provoking, life-changing, philosophy-challenging concepts in motorcycling, and these are things I never understood before, but now that I am a motorcyclist, I do fully understand, or at least embrace now. So again, motorcycling means different things to different motorcyclists, but I would like to share with you how I came to become a motorcyclist and what it means for me. My father told me that when he was in his early 20s, one of his buddies let him get on a motorcycle that his friend owned. And with no training, no instruction, no practice, my dad was fond of telling my brother and me this tale about how he took it around the block and dropped it and got horrible road rash, skinned up the side of his body. And to hide the fact that he had done this from his mother, climbed up into the second story of his bedroom so he could sneak into bed without his mom seeing him, and he hid in there and writhed in agony for a few days until the road rash healed on his own. And this is why he would tell us, you never, never, ever get on a motorcycle. Motorcycle is too dangerous. So, as the old saying goes, fear is false expectations appearing real. It's a little acronym. Picked that up. I don't remember who I'm quoting with that, but yes, motorcycling carries statistically increased risks than, say, driving a car or walking down the street, but certainly approaching riding in an ignorant way like that with no training and having it go badly, we couldn't call that an educated way to draw any conclusions. I internalized that. I internalized what my dad said to me. And when I was maybe 38 years old, I was living alone in my apartment in Phoenix, Arizona, and I started to get this bug. Like, what if I did ride a motorcycle? It sounds exciting, but I had all of these internalized anxieties. I would never get on a motorcycle, I would tell myself over and over again. And I had to stop and really actually do some soul searching on that and thought, are these my thoughts or are these my father's? Are these my values or did I just assume them? Were they programmed in me? What do I think about risk? What's an acceptable degree of risk or enjoyment versus benefit, risk versus risk, look like for me when it comes to motorcycling? And I was going through a true existential crisis over this. I didn't know what I believed, what to do. I had so much internalized programming and pre-installed anxiety and fear. And there was something I had come up with. I don't know where this came from, but years ago, I said to myself, I follow some schools of thought. I believe in such a thing as an individual's holy guardian angels, entity that guides you on your way in life. And years ago, I had said to myself, if my own HGA for short, holy guardian angel, came to me and told me I would never be killed or horrifically injured in a motorcycle, I would do it tomorrow. And I did a little prayer to my HGA at that moment, and I was sitting on the balcony of this apartment. It overlooked a street, and I heard the revving of a motorcycle engine at that moment. And now we get into the synchronicities part and the spiritual part of that I believe in, a part of life if you're in the stream of it. In other words, you can be a fear-based person and not be connected to source, and then you'll ignore all of those things because you're just trying not to die. But if you are connected, call it what you will, to your high self, your angel, what have you, holy guardian angel, God, what have you, the synchronicities become quite apparent and I believe should be heeded, listened to. And there was a man on his on a Suzuki SV facing me on the road, and he was stuck. He couldn't get it started. It was revving and dying and revving and dying, so the noise was overwhelming. I couldn't hear anything else because he was revving the crap out of it, and he'd get going a little bit and then it would die, and it was just this spectacle in front of me. And I thought that was interesting. So I was kind of getting into the forbidden, almost could call it fetish of it. I was looking at motorcycles on my laptop at the time when this happened, while I was pondering it and challenging that fear. And the fear was giving way to excitement. And I have a whole new respect now for how fear and excitement are, they're two sides of the same coin. And the fear was giving way to excitement. So that night I said a little prayer to my angel again, that if I was meant to ride, to give me a sign. And this happened. This is true. I woke up the next morning not to my alarm clock, but to a roar that shook my bed. And it was the sound of a squadron of motorcycles coming down that same street, which never happens, by the way. I lived in downtown Phoenix. This was not a optimal route for riding. It's not, nor is it a pleasant route that you would take a group of Harleys or cruiser type bikes down. And I ran to my window and I saw this this fleet of bike after bike after bike, and I said to myself, that's it, that the prayer has been answered and the direction is clear, so I'm going to follow through on that. I bought my first motorcycle, a Ninja 300, in the right in the crux of the COVID-19 lockdown. I was sent to work from home. I was suffering tremendously from lack of social connection, and I needed something to do. So this is one of those things, like Dave Ramsey says, I was actually actively paying down debt, and I got in a tiny bit of debt to buy this bike. It was a $3,300 Kawasaki Ninja 300. And this is one of those things where that boomer con wisdom really doesn't pay off. This was an exception, which was, yeah, you don't get into debt to pay for things, but what if you're dying? What if you have no life? What if you are dying from lack of social connection? What if you need an activity? And that was a very good move. So I bought this motorcycle. I had a little trailer thing I had bought for my car. I didn't know how to ride it yet, so I towed it home, and it sat in the garage of my apartment. And I took my rider course, and I loved it. I took the qualification course, so they have their own bikes for the introductory course that you could take. And then after that, it was just me and my Ninja 300, and I rode it in circles in this indoor parking lot, practicing shifting gears, and would take it out just half a block to this alley behind my place. And going 30 miles an hour on a motorcycle for the first time feels like you're going 100 miles an hour. It's an unreal experience, and it's not at all like riding a bicycle. Because already right there, if you're going 30 or 40, you're going at speeds that exceed what any human could do really on a bicycle most of the time. So I did that for a few weekends and had to face and confront that fear again. And then I took it into the city and I got it up, the motorcycle up to about 55. And I remember the moment at which my fear broke. It was not a gradual thing, as fear usually is. Usually, like if you do exposure and response prevention, cognitive behavioral therapies, things like that, the loss of anxiety is a gradual thing, but this was not. This was a wall that shattered in one moment. I could go 60, 70, 80 miles an hour, and it was an ecstatic experience. Tears down the side of my face. It was truly like an emotional experience. And all of a sudden, I was a part of the city. The roads, the routes where I was driving, if in a car, I would have dismissed it as the same roads, the same city, the same thing. But it was not the same thing. It was a different experience. I was down in the air of it and the environment and the people on the street, people waving to me. I was a part of the world, a part of the community, a part of this human race. From that point on, I've purchased different bikes since then, but I realized that yes, you could die doing this, but it's the most life-affirming thing that I have. So that's worth dying for me. This is a cheesy line, but from Braveheart, right? What did William Wallace say from Mel Gibson's mouth? We all die, but do we all live? And this is living. This is the best thing, one of the best things that life has to offer. To focus on death. Death is a cap we put on life, but did I live? I remember going with a group, and we had gotten to Snowflake, Arizona, off a very scenic route up the mountain Beeline Highway. We're heading back home. Beautiful sunny day. amazing scenic mountain vistas down the side of the mountain, and it was just me and the unity that I felt with the machine. The motorcycle is an extension of my body, and I had this another heartfelt and tear-filled realization that all the time and emotional energy and agony I spent in my life worrying about things, worrying about this job, this girlfriend, that girlfriend, what's going to happen to me, what about money, what about this? And I realized I actually get to live. Life is not all about that stuff. Life is not about just trying not to die. I actually get to live because this is living. This is a peak experience. Motorcycling puts one in the present moment so intensely that people are known to have mystical experiences. My friend James has reported this, and I've experienced it as well. I liken it to the Zen Buddhist walking meditation, although I've never experienced anything like this, doing that, but I have motorcycling. All it is just an intense, fully present state of awareness that I would call freedom, and certain thoughts come up that I ordinarily wouldn't have, like I am the universe expressing itself in this singular point that I call me. That's not an average kind of thought. That's a thought of deep mystical and spiritual insight. We have a term in motorcycling for people who drive cars. Now I have cars, but when we see them on the road, we don't call them cars a lot. Of the time, we call them cagers or cages. Driving in a car is like watching the world pass by you on television. It's like watching it pass by on a screen. And on a motorcycle, you are one with the environment. You're one with the machine, and one with the present moment. And it's the only mode of travel that I know of that makes you go around the block again, that makes you feel disappointed when you get to your destination. Otherwise, in a car, train, plane, whatever, it's how soon can I get there? And in motorcycling, you feel sad when you get there because it's about the ride. It's about, it embraces and it embodies how the mystics of old told us to live. There's no goal there. Yeah, you have milestones in life, but you can't get past the now. As Eckhart Tolle says, life is lived right here and now, and motorcycling puts you there. So I wouldn't give it up for anything. But what a wonderful feeling for me, and thanks for listening. I'm sharing with you all the things I've had to overcome just to get to that place internally, all the soul searching and battle inside of myself that fortunately I won and came out on top with 2 motorcycles in my garage. So God bless. Talk to you soon.